Let's hope that the internet sticks. Welcome to another dose of spiritual nutrition, where you get to ask me your healing questions as well as ask me about my group shadow healing coaching program and my one-on-one healing coaching program. Both offers inner child healing, shadow healing, and reparenting, as well as all the healing modalities to help you heal the effects of trauma. Now, the group coaching, however, is a collective style done with my Oracle system, so it's really interactive and fun. I use my system because my system has clinical and spiritual and holistic modalities that actually help you heal the effects of trauma. It's done on Vidme and it's only $35 a month. And if you become an affiliate, well, everybody that signs up has the potential to be an affiliate. You get your own affiliate link. But if you share that with two of your friends, that coaching program pays for itself and then some. Like, it's ridiculous. It's changing the way that social media is. So you don't just get to learn on this site, but you can potentially make money. And if you have, something that you want to teach and you need a platform, you can use it to teach, like I said. So it's a win, 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 win. And when we're in spiritual alignment, that's what it is. It's what's best for everyone. It's not just what's best for me. It's not just what's best for you. It's what's done what collectively. So I like that. That's how I roll. And my one-on-one coaching, obviously we get a lot deeper, but my coaching really is all about diving deep to tell people what their habits and their reflexes that are sabotaging, what they do, what their soul's purpose is, what their family karma is, ancestral karma, and their individual karma, and what their spiritual gifts are and how to develop them, and what their soul's purpose is, and their unique healing protocol, obviously. Now, if you have questions about this, feel free to inbox me. The links will be in the comment bar below. Now, I'm so happy that you guys decided to join me today, because today's topic, we're diving into a very profound and powerful topic, which is how the divine laws of the universe support our healing, growth, and success. And maybe, just maybe, it will shed some light on the imbalances that we don't just see within ourselves, but we see collectively, and what we can do to counteract and heal from the silent but deadly spiritual war that's happening every day, the war on our consciousness. You see, the universe isn't just random or chaotic, it's governed by divine principles that, when you understand and align with them, you can transform your life. Whether you're healing from your past wounds, breaking karmic cycles, or manifesting your dreams, these universal laws are here to support and guide you every step of the way. Now, first, let's start with understanding just a few universal principles. We couldn't name them all because there's just too many. But the law of vibration, everything in the universe exists at its own vibrational frequency. Our thoughts, our emotions, our beliefs emit vibrations that attract similar energies. You're a magnet of who and what comes into your life. When you focus on love, gratitude, and positivity, you vibrate higher, obviously attracting, healing, abundance, and joy, opposed to when you're angry. And when you're angry and you're not happy, you're going to attract people that are angry and unhappy. If you're someone that's shady, someone that, tries to get over on people, then you're going to attract people that, again, do the same. So you always want to try to vibrate at the highest vibrational frequency, which again is the energy of love. Not the love that we tend to think, but the unconditional love that we have. There's no rhyme, there's no reason. Then there's the law of attraction. Again, this is how we act like a magnet, like attracts like. Your dominant thoughts and feelings draw experiences into your life. If you focus on scarcity or anything fear related, any emotion derived from fear, well, then you're going to attract, again, things that are in that energy vibration. So you always want to align your mind with trust, faith, and love, because that's where miracles happen. Then there's a law of divine order, that everything unfolds in divine timing. So we tend to be like, oh my God, it's like I'm late, or if I would have gotten there 5 minutes before. See, there's many different realities that play it at one time, and everything's in divine order. The universe is perfect because the universe is God, and that energy is, again, of love. So everything unfolds in divine time and perfect order. Sometimes we want things, again, to happen immediately, but the universe knows the right exact moment. Sometimes we get mad, and our mind will even tell us, no, 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 this should have happened at this time, this should have happened at that time, but really we tend to think from that perception that if it would have happened 5 minutes before, maybe our life would have been better. Where, again, that's saying that a situation, again, something outside of you, needs to happen in order for you to be whole, to have the experiences that you want, where, again, that's against the laws of the universe. The laws of the universe, all of them, ask you to be opened and to receiving, which means that you cannot control or try to control the timing of anything. Everything unfolds in divine time. And also know that the universe knows, again, the right moment. So the key is to surrender. Surrender actually brings us to a place of spiritual equilibrium. Again, control goes against trusting. And so we have to be open to trusting that the divine is supporting us. We have to come from a place of faith. Like I said, that's where the miracles happen. Then there's a law of oneness. All is interconnected, so we're connected to each other. God, the universe, and us. We're not separate from divine source. We are expressions of it. So when we realize this, we heal deeper because we see ourselves as part of the collective, part of the whole. So beyond the few universal laws I've shared, there are actually hundreds and hundreds of spiritual laws that govern different aspects of our existence. These laws are derived from ancient spiritual teachings, sacred texts, and divine wisdom passed down through generations, each offering a unique insight into how the universe operates. They include laws related to abundance, karma, intention, free will, and divine justice, among others. Now, while it's impossible to name them all, what's most important to understand is that these laws work together to create balance, harmony, and order in the universe. They are the blueprint for how our energy needs to flow, because it's how energy flows, how manifestation occurs, and how spiritual growth unfolds. You can find and learn about these laws through spiritual texts and teachings from enlightened masters, meditations, and inner reflections. When you understand their purpose, which is primarily to guide us back to our true divine nature, you realize that everything in your life is working in perfect harmony to support your evolution, healing, and success. By becoming aware of these laws, you empower yourself to consciously align with the divine flow and unlock your highest potential. So you may ask yourself right about now, well, how do these laws facilitate healing? Well, first and foremost, healing the mind. Our thoughts create our reality. When we focus on love, forgiveness, and acceptance, we release mental blocks and karmic patterns that keep us stuck. Healing begins when we change our mental vibrations. Then there's science and synchronicity. Quantum physics confirms that everything is interconnected and our consciousness influences reality. Synchronicities, those consciousnesses that feel meaningful, are signs that we are aligned with divine flow. As we heal, we return to the truth of our divine nature, oneness with God. This awakening helps us shed illusions of separation and realize our inherited wholeness. Now, let's learn how to tap into your higher self, because this success isn't just external, it's obviously an internal state of alignment. So when you clear karmic cycles, patterns of pain, limitation, and fear, you access your highest potential and you manifest your dreams. Now, overcoming karmic cycles and achieving success is the key. So many people feel trapped in repeating patterns, but remember, these are just opportunities for growth. So the first thing that we want to do is have awareness. Recognize the patterns rooted in the past karma. And that, again, you'll notice that by the same experiences. So they'll say that every 5 years, every 10 years, or every 15 years, or sometimes it's 12 years. It doesn't matter the amount of years that goes by, but it's like you go through a traumatic experience, and then 5 years later you wind up back in the same exact type of experience, just with a different person. So that is a karmic loop when it happens like 2 or 3 times. And this is what makes people think I'm inadequate. There's something wrong with me, because they keep reliving a reality that's out of alignment with the universe. So again, in order to heal that, we must have number one, awareness. Recognize the patterns. So we can do this by meditation. I happen to love the Silva Ultramind method. It's like, again, it gets you right down to that theta level of consciousness right before you doze off to sleep, which I can do because I've been up since 5 in the morning. But it's like, go to sleep. It's like that's when you're going to be the most receiving, because you're just about to go to sleep, so you're the most relaxed. That is the energy that we need to recondition our bodies to actually be in alignment and manifest instantaneously, because we become one with the universe. Most of us are stressed out. This is why practices like yoga and breath work are really beneficial, especially if you have an overactive nervous system like myself, because I grew up in trauma. So growing up in trauma is, your nervous system, your mind creates your emotions, and we recondition ourselves out of alignment with the universe due to the environments that we grow up in. We also form habits and behaviorisms that are out of alignment with the flow of the universe too, that need to be reconditioned. If you grew up in trauma, remember being told that there's something wrong with you, that you're not good enough, that you begin to walk from that level of consciousness if the environment is creating that. And that is a war on consciousness, because then we're not coming from our true selves, our higher selves. So we really need to tap into that God inside and know that God is always with us. So, and we can do that by recognizing the patterns rooted in past karma. And then obviously this is a hard one. This is a really hard one for me. Forgiveness, releasing guilt and blame, both towards yourself and others. It's very easy to get stuck in what happened instead of just letting it go. And understand, when we have those triggers where we get stuck in ruminating, well, then we're actually stuck in a karmic cycle as well. And that doesn't, we're going to cut off abundance right then and there when we get stuck ruminating on something that's out of alignment with, the best version of ourselves, which is our true selves. And so how we can really, again, achieve success is to embody the energy of unconditional love by doing what you love, connecting to people who you love, surrounding yourself with positive people. because you have to trust, and you have to trust in the universe. And that's not easy when we live in a world with a bunch of people that you can't trust. So again, how are we going to stay in alignment? Well, you want to focus on positive thoughts, feelings, and actions that are in alignment with your highest good, and just to embody the energies of love. So it doesn't necessarily all the time mean that you have to be doing spiritual work. You can just be doing hobbies, have hobbies and interests and things that you really enjoy that are going to keep you in a high vibration. That's all that is. You know, it's very simple, but we get caught up in the problems, the things. You know, we go into the grocery store, we see how much things are, and we see how hard that we work, and, you know, we're trying to get ahead, and, you know, our brain begins to ruminate, and we try to figure out things before it's even possible to figure them out, because only in the now do you get divine guidance. Does spirit, that God inside of you, speak to you in that moment? So trying to figure out things ahead of time is actually going to create more anxiety. You're going to be stuck in a place of frozen from overthinking. Too much thought creates too much emotion, creates overstimulation. Overstimulation makes you feel stupid because you can't think. So again, we have to recondition ourselves. So when you do this, you begin to break free from old cycles and step into a new level of success and fulfillment. This is where I would say to start if you are not in a place of alignment. And you know, if you're not in a place of alignment, by what do my relationships look like? What does my finances look like? We ask ourselves, well, what does my life look like? Now, it also doesn't mean that you're never going to go through a difficult time. We don't have control over what happens in our environment, and we have to again stay true to ourselves and not let people bully us, or so we have to sometimes, you know, be a little bit more aggressive, or to set boundaries. You know, we have to teach people how we want to be treated, otherwise they can tend to, you know, think that they're going to treat us the way that they want to treat us. And so we have to realize that we don't have control over other people, but we can always get back to a place of wholeness, because we all go into experiences sometimes and have to deal with people that are imbalanced, and that throws our energy off. But this is a place to bring you back, like to reset yourself. Awareness, forgiveness, trust, and alignment. Remember those 4 things. Then when you again begin to do this, you begin to start seeing changes. You begin to, because you are changing, but it starts with awareness. Remember, you are the divine creator. You are the alchemist of your life. The universe is always supporting you. When you align with the laws, heal through understanding these principles, trust in divine timing, and step into the power of your higher self, well, success and happiness are like right there. You're manifesting them. They are your birthright. That's why. So when you remember you are one with the divine, that you have the power of the divine, that's the whole point of learning that we are not separate. That is what evolution is about. Evolution is really evolving our consciousness to realize that there is no separation, and we all should be striving to become this best divine version of ourselves. Now let's get into the oracle card questions of this live stream. I gotta pull up the questions though. Oh, I didn't mean to make you go away, but I have to again pull up the questions, and because there's too many of them for me to remember. So let's see. I'm going to be using my deck, the Psychic Soul Healer Oracle deck. There's 68 cards in the deck titled under Transpersonal Psychology. And as I was sharing that during my group coaching program that's going to be on Vidme, we're launching at the end of the month, we used my system because there's many different exercises in the book. like you'll see in the beginning of the book, there's a cognitive reframing exercise to find out what your core beliefs are. Then you'll see that there's a bunch of other, exercises, but there's also a ton of oracle card spreads that we do. Everything from healing trauma to finding out what your ancestral karma is, to, again, the many different things, because really the answers are inside of us. We just need to go deep within. So you see all these are different oracle spreads. There's a ton of them. I think there's about 60. And so this system teaches you not just how to do psychic readings and how to do your own spiritual healing with the cards, but it has, like I said, clinical exercises, it has spiritual exercises, it has holistic exercises, and it helps you deepen your meditation and reflection practices. That's really the first step in shadow healing. So to deepen your meditation and reflection practices, and then to do the shadow healing so you could actually do the readings and the healing. Okay, so we're going to be using that deck. Okay, so what is the first question? The first question is, what divine lessons are you currently learning? Well, let's see. We're going to pull from two different decks. Oneness. Well, I mean, literally, if you're watching this live stream, you're learning that we are all connected, that you are not separate from God, that you have the power to create the life that you want to have by utilizing the divine laws. And so the universal laws of oneness is that we are all one. So I feel like when you really learn that, you're stepping into your true potentiality. And so I looked over here, and when I said, I want to use two decks because this was up and it was abandonment, and we have to realize that we're never alone. We can see that a person should have been in our life, and wasn't in our life during certain times. We can live abandonment or by having people come into our lives, and we want them to stay, and we think that they should love us the way that we want them to, and that's expressing it. But abandonment comes in abandoning yourself, not what somebody else does. See, when we abandon ourselves because somebody doesn't show up for us, then again we need healing. So really the oneness, learning that if you stay true to yourself, then people may drop out of your life, but they weren't your people, and that's the whole thing. Spirit, the universe, will always weed out the people that are not supposed to be in your life. If they don't, if they're not in alignment with your energy, you don't need to control, try to fix, try and do anything, because everything's in divine order. Okay, so how can you better align with your higher self? Let's find that out. Unlock DNA. So again, when we unlock DNA, what we're really doing is we're living in alignment with our spiritual laws, where we're healing our ancestral karma, because DNA is inherited, but sickness and disease is only 5% inherited. What happens is that we adapt to our parents' habits, conditions, and reflexes. We inherit their karma, and that is what activates our DNA. So when we're activating our DNA, it's because our parents might have lived through, God forbid, a war or a depression or whatever it was that made them perceive that there wasn't going to be enough money, there wasn't going to be enough time. Again, maybe there was health issues. And they lived a reality, an experience that made them feel a certain way. So they adapted habits and behaviorisms that were in alignment with that. But again, when we inherit that, what we're doing is we're taking on that karma. And so when we unlock our DNA, we are not taking on that karma. We are incorporating new habits, new behaviorisms to become different, to evolve. Actually, it's our parents' wounds that we inherit that are our best teachers. Because when you look and you see what you can possibly inherit, and you just watch how that parent lived. My parent had cancer 8 times, 9 times by the time he died at 85 years old. They gave him a year to live at 42 years old. He kept getting cancer. But sensitive nervous system. Sensitive nervous system. It wasn't that he wasn't smart, he was brilliant. But any one of us, 3 children, could have inherited that DNA, could have activated, but we didn't do what our father did. Our father drank and ate badly and worried all the time, and what didn't have a strong self-esteem. He was the nicest man you'd ever want to meet. He was a brilliant man that skipped grades in school. He was a loving man. He was the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet, like I said. He was a genius too, but he was spiritually sick. He was spiritually sick. So understand, when we unlock DNA, what we're doing is we're evolving because we learned. We're breaking those karmic cycles that kept our family bound to, the pain and suffering. So we have to say, what steps can you take to release karmic patterns? Well, that one just kind of wants to come out, so I'm going to take it just because I don't believe in any mistakes. And we're going to pull that one just because. Universal panacea, that's the magic pill. This is the magic pill. There's no such thing as the magic pill. Well, there is. It's love. It's God. It's love. It's universal energy. It's to embody that energy. And it reflects through our consciousness. It reflects through our character. That's, again, that's how you unlock your DNA. You're not in a place of anger and magical realism. And that means to not be so in the logical, analytical mind, which is what I see is what I know is what I believe. Because then you're always going to be looking for things, and things that are like a problem. And understand, nothing's perfect. Even every single person, there's nobody here that's perfect. We shoot for excellence. Only God's perfect. And so understand the magical realism. Magical realism is seeing the fantasy in everyday life. Seeing like the magic in everyday life through the signs and synchronicities, through the way that the universe is constantly showing you, I'm there for you, I love you, I support you. Through every step of the way. It's again our magical realism. We can get caught up with, there's not enough money. Oh, I have to pay for this, I have to pay for that, I have to, and then I gotta go make dinner, and then I gotta, it's always what we have to do. And very rarely we're just in the moment where we're taking a walk and we're smelling a flower. I was walking my dogs last night, and I said, well, then it smelled the flowers living here in Florida, and it was just really nice. They said, just being in the moment, feeling the warm air, being grateful to be alive, being happy in the moment. This is as simple as it is to be open to receiving. And so we have to ask ourselves, how can I better align with my higher self? I think I already asked that question. Okay, what steps can you release karmic patterns? And this is, again, determination. Like where Spirit says, don't give up. It's like, believe in yourself. Understand, we all tend to fake it till we make it. It takes a mustard seed. God makes that multiply. We're all David going up against Goliath. God says, please don't do my job. Do your job. Be like childlike. be in the energy of love, be in the energy of magical realism, that anything's possible. See the magic in your everyday, see the fantasy in your everyday life, like what can be. And that happens through the imagination. That's why through your imagination, if you can imagine it, you can create it. If you imagine it, you can embody that energy, and you embody it. Your mind doesn't know the difference whether it's real or not. If you're imagining it, the universe listens to that vibration. So again, we become more of the energy of love, but doesn't mean that we don't have to, you know, not persevere. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to be consistent. It's hard to go after your dream. You know, especially when the world is telling you that you can't do it. But don't listen to the world. Listen to yourself. Be in the world. Don't become a part of the world. Be true to yourself. That's the key. And again, self-denying. So that's something that you need to be careful of. Or if you're someone that is very self-indulgent, where you're not getting your emotional needs taken care of, so maybe you're spending money on other things, or you're squandering your energy. So remember, utilizing all your energy towards creating means that you have to, again, sometimes deny yourself, but understand everything's in divine order. If you don't like what's happening in your life, you can actually change it. So now it says, what areas of your life needs more divine order? Let's see. Empathy. Maybe again, maybe you don't feel like you want to be as warm or connecting to people right now. Or maybe you're too empathetic. So that's something too. So collective reading. So if you're someone that, well, I always go out of my way, but if you always go out of your way and you never see anything coming back, well, then you need to see who you're always offering to, because you don't want to squander your energy. But if you find yourself closed off and in a place of, I don't want to be warm to anyone, I don't want to, like, I've been hurt, and you go closed down, well, actually the best thing to do, they always say, is to do charity. It opens up your heart. Is get your mind off of yourself, because we can get really caught up in like what happened, what did happen, what they did, what it's again, get out of your mind is the best way, and do charity, because then you're in the vibration of love, and you're actually giving, and that allows you to receive. And what areas of your life? Nope. How can you raise your vibration today? Spirit descending. So the higher self is the God part of self. So when the spirit descends, it just means to ground. Ground a passion. Ground a hobby. Ground an interest. Connect with someone that you haven't connected to. And someone, you know, anything that's going to raise your vibration is what Spirit's saying. Because it's normal that every day we go up against things that are going to, again, take away from us, take our energy. That's how the world's designed. We don't realize it. And it's really important when you're in, like, when you're surrounded every day in environments that take us out of our true energy. So, do I have any other questions? Let me see. One more, which is, what am I attracting through my current thoughts and feelings? Actually, I think I put a lot of questions on here. Okay, honor. How can you deepen your connection to the divine guidance? Well, again, believe in it. And that might mean, you know, you have to form a relationship, a personal relationship with the divine yourself. And that always comes through your passion for life. See, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and God helps those that help themselves. So when we are doing for ourselves, and we're, you know, feeding ourselves through getting to know something that we're passionate about. Understand we may not grow that much in that particular passion, but it gives spirit, the universe, something to work through. So you might meet new friends. You might meet like a new person that helps you somehow. You meet who you're supposed to. You experience what you're supposed to. And it's all for your divine betterment, because the universe only cares that you evolve back into your God-given energy, which is unconditional love. So by honoring it, it means that we're doing things that are in alignment with it. And that means loving ourselves, doing for ourselves, trying to better ourselves. And that comes in many different vehicles. Maybe take a class, invest in yourself. And it doesn't matter the class. Maybe you need more fun, take a dancing class. Maybe you have 2 left feet, doesn't matter. It's like, just go out and find yourself, because that's what happens. We get stuck in a reality, and then we begin to see ourselves in alignment with that reality. And so we have to put ourselves in new situations and new experiences. Otherwise, we're always going to continue to see the same old, and no one wants to see that. Trust me. It's like, even if it wasn't a bad same old, it becomes boring. Life becomes boring, and who wants that? No one wants that. I have so many questions. I didn't realize. I said I was done. That was a lie. Okay, so how can you trust divine timing more fully? Yeah, like, how can you not like flip out and be like, oh my God, I missed the time. Release ancestral karma. And that's really that's time. There is no such thing in time in the spiritual realm. Remember that. And everything's in divine order. But, being that time is man-made, a lot of times our habits about time come from our family. And so, thinking about it like, hey, I'm behind time, or I missed my time, or I'm too old for that. Well, that goes against divine law. So it's about being surrounded by people that actually think in alignment with the laws of the universe, because you've been around people that have become more like the world instead of their unique individual being that is in the world. They're not a part of the world. Again, to be your own unique creator, to be the creator of your life, means that you're steering your life. Otherwise, you become like a prisoner to the laws of the world. War of light. Use your passion to fight for what you believe in. And so that means a lot of times, hey, sometimes people don't want us to do what's best for us. Sometimes that's a challenge. And so Spirit says, use your passion. Again, your passion is what allows you to create. It's what allows you to stay strong sometimes. It's the greatest motivator. It's what makes us change. If there was no reward, whether that was passion like fulfillment, enjoyment, or passion with a person, or passion, it's the drive that gets us to do things. And so what spiritual rituals can you align with? It's, again, just doing things that you're gonna love. Make it simple, really. Now I want to thank you for sharing your energy with me today. Remember, you are supported by divine law. That you're always working, you should always be working, I should say, to be in alignment, because divine law is always working in your favor. So when you consciously align with these principles, vibration, attraction, divine order, you actually are activating your innate power to heal, grow, and create the life and the desire that you want. Now, trust in the divine plan, surrender, and know that the universe is always conspiring in your favor. You are a divine being. You're loved, and your greatest manifestation awaits. Stay blessed, stay aligned, and keep shining your light. And until next time, always be true to yourself. That, to me, I feel like that is like, if you don't take anything away from this at all, take away, be true to yourself. And that means love yourself enough to do what you need to do for yourself, to show up for yourself. And when you begin to do that, life slowly changes. The universe, again, conspires to bring you more of that.